Phil and then Yanni.
Well, just briefly, I think Yanni might say the same thing. I just think there was insufficient time for us to really go to consider this sensibly. It came just yesterday. I'm not criticising staff. I'm just saying it seems to me this should be delayed.
Is that 26?
Yeah, that's 26 we're dealing with, yeah.
I just support that view. It's not actually just for us as well, it's actually for people in the community. And actually what we heard was that the local community board hadn't even been appraised of that report at all. So I think we need to recognise that as people in the community that have an interest in this matter, they would have had no chance to make their views known, consider the information and provide feedback. So I think it's really, we should not accept it as a supplementary and give some more consideration to enabling others and ourselves to consider it.
In terms of timing, could I ask a question? Sorry, I actually can't ask a question at the moment, David.
It's just on this point of supplementaries, it seems to be regularly happening now that on the eve of a meeting or the day of a meeting we're receiving a supplementary report, and unless there's some absolute urgency for it, I would rather say we can't accept supplementaries within a couple of days of a meeting, but to get things basically on the day of a meeting is really not that great.
No, yeah, I mean, it was asked for very late. So the question I wanted to ask is that, is it time sensitive? So,
Madam Chair, we believe it is. This would permit Council and SERA staff to commence consultation with the community and with the community board over the details of the agreed first phase programme. Until such time as the first phase programme is agreed between Council and SERA, CCDU, we as officers would not be in a position to commence consultation over the details of those individual schemes.
I think the concern that was raised though earlier was the chair of the community board didn't see this paper until today, and so the community board itself hasn't even heard about this. And they discussed at one of their community board meetings that was in the report today, the fact that Skirt was starting on a process around Salisbury Street, and what they were saying was that they didn't want their community disrupted twice, once with the Skirt work underground and then the subsequent work that needs to be done. And even though a sum of money can be made available, for the for the project, it just worried me a little bit, in terms of timing. Would 2 weeks make all the difference in the world?
I know. I think it's just the sort of process and mechanism we're in here. We had a cost share agreement with the first phase projects listed between the Crown and the Council. This report was actually just requesting that those first phase projects be changed a little in order to ensure that we actually deliver the projects that support the bus interchange. So there wasn't a process around that community engagement at that point in time. It's when the Council and the Crown have agreed the first phase projects, we then go out to the community and talk to them.
Yeah, but in the first phase projects, we're getting into a debate about the issue, but when the council agreed the first phase projects with central government, it included Salisbury Street. No, sorry. Well, it included
potentially two-way in Kilmore.
Two-way in Kilmore.
But it didn't
but
include Salisbury at all.
Okay, but it lines up with another issue, which is this question of whether we really want communities disrupted twice.
I'm just wondering, is there a special or extraordinary council meeting on Monday the 12th? Could we include it at that meeting?
There's so much on the agenda of the 12th meeting.
I guess we could if you don't want any extra information. if you need extra,
It would just be time to read it, that's all.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
I personally would have preferred the
We can live with
22nd. I would have preferred the 22nd because at least you could have then gone back to the community board and had a discussion with them. I mean, it's probably not going to change anything. It's just that it's just a question of process, you know, that's all. But, Yanni.
So really, I mean, there is a kind of issue here with the whole thing. We're adding $12.5 million to our budget, and so we're actually adding $12.5 million of new projects. Next week, we're hearing from our community about how we should spend our money, and you've got a community board that's had no chance to consider it. So it does seem kind of rather a bit bizarre that we can just make these big decisions without that opportunity for the public or the community to have input. So, you know, if it's not going to be deferred until the 22nd, then let's do it on Monday, 12th at that meeting. But it does raise a question to me about how we're spending money in terms of the central city and what checks and balances we have in place, particularly with the new information that just came out yesterday around the scale of the financial problem that we have. And we're actually, you know, spending more money without a chance to reflect on whether that investment, that spend is right. I've previously asked for information around what's happening around the High Street, south of Litchfield, and also the Avon River precinct plans. I still haven't even had that information from staff.
But don't sidetrack onto issues.
I'm
sorry, I'm just going to call you to order because we can't sidetrack onto these other issues. All this paper does is transfer the timing of the different phases that work within a phase. So, I mean, yeah.
But what it does...
Can I just clarification from staff? Is this an extra $12.5
No,
million?
there's no extra money recommended in this proposal.
The report, Madam Chair, does specifically not recommend an increase to the budget of the first phase programme. It sits within the agreed $72 million.
Yeah. Look,
That's quite important. I mean, I think...
Yeah, no, but we're going to have to either debate the report now or not. So I'm going to
I want to ask a different question, which is probably a dumb one.
No, but we're not debating the paper. We're not asking questions about the paper. We're asking whether the report should be received and considered at the meeting today. So we're not on to the subject. So if we want to deal with it today, then people will vote for it, vote yes, that the item be received and considered. And if they don't want to deal with it, then I'm sure that somebody will move a resolution that it be deferred until next week or till the 22nd of May. Or if somebody wants to move that as an amendment, then at least we can move on.
I move that as an amendment.
Which one?
That item 26 be deferred to the 12th of May.
To the 12th of May. Okay. Does anyone second that? Okay. Jimmy Chen seconded.
Can I ask, and it is actually, the point I was trying to make is that councillors have asked for information relevant to this report that we still have not been provided with. Can I ask on the 12th of May, can staff provide that information?
What information is relevant to the timing of the
Avon River precinct design plan and what's happening in High Street south of Litchfield? Because these are traffic...
The purpose of this paper, I'm sorry, but the purpose of the paper is to enable all of the access ways to the bus interchange to occur. That requires some of the timing of the work to be altered between phase 1 to phase 2 or year 1
it's
to year
wider
2.
than the bus interchange. It's also about the Avon River precinct.
No. Okay. No. Well, but the thing is that I'm not ruling that information is relevant to the decision that we make on Monday. If we decide to, I mean, if we deal with it today, we deal with it today. If we deal with it next Monday, but perhaps I'll just put the resolution and see how the council's feeling. And so I'll put the amendment that that the report be considered on the. Well, the amendment is to change the 8th of May to the 12th of May. So yeah, no, that's the amendment. The amendment is to change the 8th of May to the 12th of May. So I'll put the amendment. All those in favour of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. So did you want to? No, it's all right. Okay, so that's fine. So now we move on to the public excluded resident